What's going on, guys? It's Kyle. Welcome to the Stock Goat YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to be covering the Sofi stock and the overall market. Be sure to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Let's try and get this video over 1,000 likes so more and more people can, see this video, learn more about the Sofi stock. But I have an incredible video for you today. We're going to be covering the Sofi Q2 earnings, which are just days away. We all know that Sofi has, jumped their earnings up 10 days to get away from that CPI report. They just want people to really focus in on their earnings. I think it's going to be a really big one. We're going to be covering the details in this video. If you find any of this information useful, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We will be keeping you updated daily. Don't forget to drop a comment. I'm going to be commenting back to as many people as I can. And the last video I did yesterday, everybody really liked it. That video is trending pretty well. That's going to be covering all of the stock-based compensation drama with Sofi, comparing it to a lot of these other technology stocks. And believe it or not, Sofi is one of the lowest stock-based, compensation companies out there compared to some of these other unicorns. So it was very interesting and people enjoyed it. Let's get into the video. All right, guys, today was just another day in paradise. Covering drama, this week with the Fed meeting. The Fed's going to be hiking up their rates about 75 basis points or something like that. And the market was just absolutely choppy. You can see here, S&P 500 flat, Dow flat, NASDAQ 0.5%. We always know that tech heavy always goes red near the Fed meetings. Russell small caps 0.5%, and crude oil exploding up 2%. Guys, I can't stand looking at oil anymore. Oil prices have to come down drastically because it's been up for way too long. Sofi stock put in that technology bunch. We're losing some of those gains from last week, 2.5% down in the after hours. But guys, what happened once the market closed? The big headline was Walmart came out. They're slashing guidance. We can see here stocks making the biggest moves after hours. Walmart, Target, Whirlpool, all just getting hammered. You can see here, guys, Amazon 4, Target 5, Walmart 9%. That's absolutely insane. We can see here 105 growth stocks on Webull that we watch. Beyond Meat, UiPath, Upstart, Coinbase, Lucid were all about 7 to 4%. So some of these were pretty red today. STEM, C Limited 2%, Okta 2. Sofi was in that 2.5% range. So we were at the bottom of the 105 growth stocks. But if we go to the top, pretty much nothing was really big time green. Only one company over 2%, which was Enphase at 3%. So Teladoc, Lending Club 1 to 2%. So today was just a flat day overall, but some growth stocks did get hammered around 2 to 5%. And just look at that after hours movement, guys. Walmart, Target, and Amazon, because Walmart's coming out slashing their numbers. This is not good heading into that Fed meeting. It could really be a rough day tomorrow now that Amazon is absolutely tanking. The NASDAQ could fall really heavy. So this is why I've been trying to not follow the market, because these things are just out of your control. A company that has nothing to do with the stock that you're in is going to bring your stock down because it's such a large company. Fed meeting, the same thing over and over again with these rate hikes. I just want to get to Sofi's earnings. And of course, the big headline, of course, is the inflation. It has to come down, guys. Gas has to come down, or stocks are just going to sit in this chop land forever. Now, guys, what we're really going to be seeing coming on these Q2 earnings for Sofi, we should see some big, movement, big action inside of the Galileo section. That's the technology platform, okay? We can see here Sofi agreed to acquire Technisys. The date was February 22nd, so that's about, 70% towards, the Q1. So you're only going to get a couple $1,000,000 on that Q1 earnings. But now we're going to really see Technisys could have a big jump in their earnings, guys, because we got full 3 months of that company's revenue coming in. You can see here Technisys did about $70 million in revenue for 2021. And Anthony Noto came out and said he expects this company to be growing around 25%. Maybe they were not trying to put the expectations too high, but he expects the company to be growing about 25%, which is not. You can see the revenue is going to be around $87 million estimated. You take 4 quarters, that's going to be around $21 million in revenue. That is a pretty nice jump. If some of your other business segments are lagging, like the lending side on the mortgages or the student loans. So an extra $20 million coming in on the technology platform, that is huge. Now, guys, I want to go back to just the third quarter, which is a couple of quarters back, about three, just to show you, how SoFi is doing in comparison to their guidance that they've been putting out, okay? So you can see SoFi had about 277 million for the third quarter. Guidance was about 245 to 255, so they were actually a 13% higher on the low end and 9% higher on the high end. We can see that SoFi really likes to beat their earnings very, very solid. So the Q3 was very, very nice beat. And you can see here that management expects accelerated growth, adjusted net revenue of 272 to 282 million for the guidance for the Q4. So it looks like on an adjusted basis, the revenue came in about 279 million for the fourth quarter, which was just a small beat compared to the Q3. But guys, you have to realize, if you listen to that earnings call, it was not necessarily SoFi's fault. They kind of got rug pulled on those student loans. Remember, they were spending money investing in sales and stuff to get more student loans to get ready and stuff like that, trying to attract more of the college customers. And they got rug pulled, guys. That student loan got extended, and that destroyed their earnings, and they had to make a swivel, make an adjustment really fast. So that is when SoFi came out, remember, for 2022, and completely got rid of that student loan guidance, that revenue for student loans. They completely got rid of it because they do not trust the government, the White House, Biden, anything correlated to student loans. They fully cut it out of their guidance. And that's why you see a huge jump from Q4 to Q1, because, they knew exactly what their game plan was heading into Q1. And you can see they put out their Q4 guidance for 280 to 285 million of adjusted net revenue. And guys, we know that they absolutely smoked those earnings. Net revenue came in at 330 million for the first quarter when they cut out that student loan guidance, guys. SoFi came in and they knew their game plan. They knew that they had no control over student loans, so they went all in for lending. Lending was absolutely exploding, and that was prior to having the bank charter. So take a look at this, guys. February 22nd, the Technisys deal closed. We know that Technisys brought in about 70 million for 2021. They're expecting about 25% growth, so that's about $87 million in revenue coming in for this year. They only had about 1 month in the Q1, which is only about 7 million in revenue. So if their other business segments do lag this upcoming quarter, just know that, Technisys could be bringing in around $21 million for the full Q2. So that will be huge, just to think of a backup if lending completely, collapses and cuts back drastically. So the Q3 guidance was 245 to 255. Results 277 million. That's a low end beat by 13% and a high end beat by 9%. The Q4 guidance was 272 to 282. Results were 280 million in revenue. They beat the low end by 3% and they beat the high end by 0%. But remember, guys, that was when they kind of got rug pulled with that extension. That student loans got extended towards the end of the Q4, and that really hurt their marketing dollars, expenses, and they had to make a huge pivot, and that's exactly what they did. For Q1, the guidance was 280 to 285. The results were 322 million when they came back, beat the low end by 15% and beat the high end by 13%. So what I did for the Q2 was I took the Q3 and the Q1, which were, quarters that they had full control of, unlike that Q4, and I just, just did an estimate of the revenue beats and the percentages. And the Q2 guidance is about 330 to 340. Results, estimated, we're going to cover that at the end. Let's say they beat the low end by 14% and beat the high end by 11%, which is right in the middle. We're looking at revenue of around $376 million, guys. That would be a massive beat coming in for 330. And remember, guys, if some of their segments do slow down, they got the Technisys revenue to come in and back some of that, maybe mortgage slowdown, student loan slowdown. So an extra $21 million to come in there for the technology side of Galileo and boost their revenue. So understand there is also cost savings that could potentially be happening with this bank charter. So we could see the net income loss of around 110 million. I have it right here. We can see right here, SoFi's last quarter was around $110 million loss. We may see that drop, maybe, 80 to 90 million. That would be a huge cutback. We would start seeing the cost savings from the bank charter, even with stock-based compensation, the regular expenses. But guys, I just want you to know, I'm really looking for a solid, 11% beat on the high, and I do want to see it. I think the bank charter is going to make a big difference. I think the Technisys deal is going to make a big difference. I think they're lending very, very heavy to more states now without as many regulations. So be looking for this number, guys. I'm not looking for a normal 330 to 340. I'm looking for a big beat, even in this environment that we're in right now. We've seen some companies do pretty solid. I think SoFi has had great management in place to come out with a very, very solid quarter. So these are the types of numbers I'm looking at. I think it's going to be a very, very solid beat, one of the biggest beats that we've had, because they're in full control now. They're not having all their eggs investing in that student loan, acquiring more students with debt and stuff like that. They cut it back, it looks like. And they just cut out full revenue guidance inside of their guidance for student loans. You can see right here, they have updated their 2022 annual guidance, and that reflects the latest extension of federal student loan payment moratorium. Guys, this was April 6th, right around the Q1 earnings, I believe. So guys, we should be having a nice beat, because they are not concerned, because they took out their revenue for the additional student loan revenue that they thought they were going to bring in. So this could be a very nice quarter heading our way. If you made it to the end of the video, I want to say I really do appreciate it. I enjoyed doing this video for you. Remember, guys, a lot of things happening this week are out of your control. Walmart coming in and saying that they're cutting back guidance. That's not your fault that your stocks are down. Okay, that's just large companies having very, very bad problems. Amazon's tanking after hours, Target's tanking in the after hours, and then we have the two big earnings coming up tomorrow, Google and Microsoft. So this is going to be a very tough week. Let's just get by the Fed rate hike or whatever on Thursday, and then we'll be into SoFi's earnings next week. If we can just make it out of this week and stocks just bounce around, I just want to have a normal week where people and investors can actually focus on the SoFi earnings, because I think they're going to be extremely solid. Once again, my name is Kyle. Hope you have a great day.